Good evening. My name is Fabrizio Maltese. I'm Italian, born from the small and very multicultural Grand Duchy of Luxembourg. I've been told that I am the first emerging producer from my small country. I have a background of 15 years in celebrity portrait photography. Celebrities are very nice to work with, but they live on a different planet, and suddenly one day one frame was not enough anymore. So I wanted to tell different stories with more frames. That's why I started making documentaries. I made 5 feature film to date. They premiered at different festivals, including Thessaloniki, Palm Springs, and Tallinn. In 2019, December, with a very good sense of timing, I founded my production company, Ji.hlava, just before the pandemic, not only to produce my own films, but also to help other filmmakers to find their voices. The film I'd like to introduce, it's called The Recreation. It's a hybrid documentary by the 6-time Oscar nominee Jim Sheridan with David Merriman. When I spoke the first time with Jim, I felt his passion for this project and the urgency, and I decided to get on board based on that. He wanted to understand his own motivation to tell a story that haunted him for more than 10 years. But the form wasn't clear at that moment. After months of conversations, we're about to shoot a documentary in a studio which represents another world. Just in 2 weeks, sorry. And the main character is a ghost opposite death. I'm pleased to share with you Jim Sheridan's vision for this film. Thank you.
You may not know, but I've spent my whole life in fiction. I started in the theatre, making plays, and I want to use what I've learned over 40 years to interrogate the facts around the brutal murder of Sophie Toscan de Plantier. In order to make this hybrid fact and fiction story, I have to put myself on the line. I'm going to play the part of Orpheus, descending into Hades to bring Sophie back to life. But to do this, I have to make a pact with death. He agrees to lend Sophie to me for a couple of hours to see if she can regain her memory and her voice brutally interrupted by her savage murder. But the condition is that he does his best to stop me finding out the truth and revealing who is the killer behind the mask. And if at the end of the story I don't find out who killed Sophie, death will sing us off and dance into the twilight happily. Actors always ask the director, what's my motivation? And unfortunately, I've had to ask myself, what is my motivation in pursuing this story for over a decade? And there are many parts of my life that reveal themselves to me. The death of my brother, my mother's birth when her mother died giving birth to her. And I want to use all of this personal narrative to explore how the Irish, and me in particular, deal with narrative truth.